Hello, friends, and welcome to Bible Study Part 2. Yep, we're still in the NIV, and we will be for one more whole year. That will be Old Testament and Psalms next year. Right now, we are in the book of Mark. We are in chapter 6, and we are doing verses 30 through 56. So let's jump in. Jesus feeds the 5,000. The apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to him all they had done and taught. And then because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." So they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. But many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. When they landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. By this time it was late in the day, so his disciples came to him. "This is a remote place," they said. "It is already very late. Send the people away so they can go to the surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat." But he answered, "You will give them something to eat." They said, "That would take 8 months of a man's wages." Or 200 denarii. "Are we to go and spend that much on bread and give it to them to eat?" "How many loaves do you have?" he asked. "Go and see." When they found out, 5 and 2 fish. Then Jesus directed them to have all the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat them down in groups of hundreds and 50s. All right. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven, gave thanks, and broke up the loaves. He then gave them to his disciples and set it before the people. He also divided the 2 fish amongst them all. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces of bread and fish. The number of men who had eaten was 5,000. Now there was more than that, because as they said in Matthew, there were women and children. Jesus walks on the water. Immediately, so think about that. That would mean the expansion of the molecules that were already there. Because the everything that he needed was already there. He didn't need more things. He just needed to make more of what was already there. Of course, the Messiah can make more of what is already there. We got machines that can, play around with molecules and stretch things around. Of course, he could. Jesus walks on the water. Immediately, verse 45, immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to Bethesda. Okay. Well, he dismissed the crowd. After leaving them, he went up on a mountainside to pray. When the evening came, the boat was in the middle of the lake, and he was alone on land. He saw the disciples straining at the oars because the wind was against them. About the 4th watch of the night, he went out to them walking on the lake. He was about to pass by them when they saw him walking on the lake. They thought he was a ghost, and they cried out because they all saw him and were terrified. Because of course, there's all of a sudden there's a presence walking in the water. It was in the middle of a storm, and they're like, "Woo, yeah, I'd be afraid too." Immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." Then he climbed into the boat with them, and the wind died down, and they were completely amazed, for they had not understood about the loaves. Their hearts were hardened. Well, that's terrible. When they had crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret, and anchored there. As soon as they got out of the boat, people recognized Jesus. They ran throughout the whole region and carried the sick on mats to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he went, into villages, towns, or countrysides, they placed the sick in the marketplaces. They begged him to let them touch even the edge of his cloak, and all who touched him were healed. What amazing faith! That just feeling like if I'm in the presence of this person, I will be all better. And, people often go seek that in living people around them. And that, honestly, I got to say, is a mistake. You're not going to find another Savior. There was one Savior. We're waiting for that same Savior to come back. Other living people can't fill that role. We make our messes in our daily patterns and our habits. We won't learn not to make those messes if we don't clean it up ourselves. So if you're waiting for someone to sweep in and just make your life all better and make it so you have to do no work ever, yay! No, that is illusion that comes from the opposition. No such thing. If we made the mess, we got to clean it up. That's just a life, really. Nobody, even if you can find professionals that you can hire to clean up those messes for you, you still have to pay them. You know, you can't expect other people to do it for you. So, I mean, otherwise you're not enduring what you yourself made with your own patterns. And how, egotistical and selfish is that? Like, if you made the mess, clean it up, right? Especially if you're watching this. Probably a grown-up, or if you're at least close enough to a grown-up that if you don't know how to clean that up, you go find somebody who can tell you how to clean it up, because you are responsible for finding the way to clean up the mess you made.